Welcome to Soul Sync.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Soul Sync.
Welcome back, everybody.
We hope you're having as good of a day as Sir Boomy is over here, just chilling in Taylor and I's high vibe energy.
I was just telling Tammy. I was just telling Sammy how funny it is that the pets will literally just gravitate towards her and end up sitting directly next to her, like in the frame perfectly, as if they're like the guest star today. So, our guest star of the day is Sir Boomerton. Oh my God. And he's licking the mic. That is literally the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I can't breathe. How are the giggles this bad already?
Oh my God. Was that not perfect?
No, that was such a perfect intro. And I feel like it kind of goes with what we're talking about today, because we're talking about slowing down a little bit more and like taking bite-sized pieces rather than like catapulting through your life and then falling off because you didn't take time to appreciate small moments like this.
Yes. Oh my God. I fucking love Boom. But it's so true. Like, we want to achieve our goals, right? Like, we want to get there. We want to feel that accomplishment and we want the things that we're manifesting. So it's like, how can we look at our habits and our thoughts and what we've been doing and be like, how can I make this better?
Yeah, I feel like, we are constantly overwhelming ourselves with perfection. And this could be a reason of us not hitting our goals because we're already feeling so behind. So we get into this mindset of like, well, why should I try anyway?
Yes. Oh my God. That's so true. And I fell victim to it. Not gonna lie, we're being real on this podcast. Um, Today, when I was just reflecting on my gym little roller coaster that I like to ride for whatever reason, I'll be up and down. And I'm just, you get to a point where like I am dedicated to it. And I was telling Sammy, I'm like, I do really want to achieve this goal. Like, I want to make fitness a priority, and I really like, I love her program so much, and I'm just like, why do I fall off? Like, why am I like up and down with it? And just being like brutally honest with yourself, I think, is a great way to start. So I was being brutally honest with Sammy, and I was like, you know what, I was thinking about it the other day, and I think that maybe 5 days working out to start off with might just be one of the reasons why I'm feeling a little hesitant to go all in, because just, I don't know, maybe just the thought of 5 days or trying to schedule 5 days with like my busy schedule is a little overwhelming to me. So I was talking this out with her and she was like, girl, that makes so much sense. She was like, we can start smaller. And I feel like, especially with things like working out, it feels more gradual and more comfortable to like get into the swing of things and make it a habit. And it's easier to slide into that whole like workout game when you are kind of easing into it with a 3 day schedule rather than a 5 day. And obviously, everyone's different. Like, this, some people can really just like go for it and 0 to 100 and jump into it like 100%. But if you know me, you know that is not me. And I learned that firsthand with this experience. So, we just had like a beautiful little communication this morning of just like, listen, like, that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you're not doing anything wrong. And you can still achieve and gradually climb up to a 5 day schedule from a 3 day one. So that was like my little realization with that, and reaching that goal that I really desperately want to hit. I can still hit it just by adapting and changing up that schedule a little bit.
100%. I feel like it was so good for us to talk about this today too, because so many of my clients like will struggle with this. I always start off my girls with like 3 days because I'm like, okay, once you do at least a month of 3 days, then I'll give you a fourth day. But we want to build that consistency first. And I think at one
Mhm.
point, like we had that consistency. You were going 3 to 4 times a week. So it didn't seem as overwhelming. But since we like had that little pause, it's like sometimes you need to meet yourself with where you're at. So if that means going down so you can build back your consistency, that's going to be the best thing for you because like I told Taylor at the end of the day, like we're working out because she loves her body and she wants to be stronger when it comes to massage therapy. And what that's going to take is the consistency of going on the days that are going to be the best for you so that you have the best workout. So on top of, bringing those workouts down, I said, one, I want you to prioritize the strength training. You have the yoga that is your fourth day, but you need to do the strength training first and then you do the yoga because I know the yoga is really, really, really easy for Taylor. She takes classes all the time. But also what days work best for you? Because I think we need to evaluate this a little bit more. And this comes with like the bite sized pieces. Like, look at your weeks as weeks because one week it might be awesome for you to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then other weeks you might be like my client Tess. And right now she has a busy early week. So she's like, I'm going to cram in my workouts at the end of the week. I'll hold that discipline. I'll get it done. But I know in advance that these days I usually work out aren't going to work out. So she just plans around it. And I think we need to give ourselves grace more to do things like that and make changes and adjustments that are just going to help us towards our goals.
Oh my God, that's exactly what it is. And while you were saying that, I was kind of thinking of like, there can be hard core boundaries that are set, and then there can be the loose ones. So the loose ones are which days you'll work out
Mhm.
and, what time of the day you're going to work out. And it's not necessarily just for working out either, like it could be all different priorities like meditation or taking a class or going on a hot girl walk, So it's like the loose things of like when you can do it, it just as long as you do it and as long as you get 3, 4, or 5 or whatever your schedule is by the end of the week each week and you show up for that. So that's like the hardcore non-negotiable. And then you have like little loose things that you're able to be free with and you're able to like move around to make it a little more, less stressful, more enjoyable, and more just like tailored to your schedule because you're so right. Like every week is different, and we're not robots. Like shit happens. Sometimes maybe we have like parties to go to, like different things will pop up and we have to adapt.
Yes.
So, if we want to achieve our goals and we're just so like headstrong and working towards it, it's like, okay, what things will I allow myself to be loose on to achieve that same goal, the same way and kind of get the same results. So
Yeah.
I really like that about your program too, that you can switch up the days and you can just like move it around and do it at any time. So I
Oh my
don't know.
god. Fuck yeah, girl. Please keep like hyping up Lotus Lifts. I love this. But this made me think it's like when you have this idea of like the loose boundaries and hard boundaries, it really does prevent you from beating yourself up because this is what we were talking about earlier too. It can be so easy to beat yourself up and say, "Oh my gosh, it's already Wednesday. I haven't worked out this week." And go, "Well, I'll just start up next week." And that actually happened with one of my clients. She was sick and she was like, I'm just going to take it easy this week and I'll start back up next week. And I said to her, I was like, girl, definitely take the time to rest and recover. That's going to be priority number one. But two, you could be fine by Thursday and still get your 3 workouts in. She has 3 workouts right now, and I needed to remind her, like, that is plenty of time because you might be feeling perfectly fine. And even if you get 1 or 2, that is still more than enough. But I think oftentimes we'll beat ourselves up to the point that we don't want to do it at all. So we're constantly pushing it off to the future when you could just make the decision today, like, oh, I feel a lot better. I'm gonna go get my workout in and just start from where you're at. And this is like a whole idea that I taught my clients about in our training yesterday, where I told them Tuesday can be the new Monday. If you fuck up on Monday and you're like, oh my God, I had the Sunday scaries, Monday was not it, kind of had a rough morning, you can always just get it back together the next day. You don't need to let a bad morning define you. You don't need to let a bad day define you. You can always start over. And that includes with this preparation and going to the gym and doing these things for yourself. Like Taylor said, it's not a one size fits all. But as long as you get it done, you're going to feel so good about yourself.
Yes. Oh my God. And you know what? If you really genuinely want something, you will find a way to do it, you know? And with anything in life, with any goal that you set, it's like if you are so committed to it, you will adapt and you will find these little things that you can tweak in your schedule or little things that you can make it even that much easier. So even like talking to Sammy about the editing, I was like, girl, like I'm so committed to this podcast, you know? So it's like I sat down for like a couple hours one day and I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out and how can I make this easier? How can I make this whole process? Because I'm not just going to not do the editing. I'm not just gonna not go to the gym, you know? It's like, but how can you make it easier on yourself? And how can it be like a more enjoyable process? And that's really like, you can incorporate that with anything, with work, even social media. You can batch content. Like, there are so many things you can tweak that just makes so much sense. I'm sorry, I got distracted by Boomy's butt. Boomy's booty just hopped in the frame, and I was like, "Ooh, a cat." That's literally how my brain works sometimes.
Why am I the same way? As soon as he jumps up, I'm like, "Hi,
Yeah,
Boomy."
yeah.
Attention totally, like, taken off me.
I know. I'm like, "And you can accomplish your dream." Ooh, a cat.
But
Like,
it's true. If you just live your life as Boomy does, you can accomplish anything.
facts. Oh my god. But it is about working smarter, not harder sometimes. So our goals are super attainable and super achievable. And you know what? It is about not getting overwhelmed because
Mhm.
people do very easily. And that I feel like can be possibly the number one reason why people don't stay with these certain routines and certain goals that they set for themselves because it's a whole disruption to the habits that they've
Yep.
been doing and the whole routines they had, and their body and their mind and everything feels uncomfortable because it's not
Mhm.
used to that. But you gotta have the in your head of like, just push through. How can I make this more comfortable? How can I make this a bite-sized piece that I'm about to chew on? And there are ways.
100%. And when you think about it, like if you just start small, you don't need to start by going all in and, like Taylor said, working out 5 times a week and doing all of these things. Like for my clients, if they're feeling really overwhelmed with tracking, I go, all right, we have a food journal in my app. Go ahead and post your food each day so I can see what you're eating. I know what the macros roughly are. And that gives me an idea of what they're eating, and then they get more and more comfortable with the tracking and with what seeing foods are. And kind of like we talked about, Taylor, they get curious. As you
Mhm.
start it, you get more and more curious, especially if it's something you enjoy. And I think that's like the other reason why people aren't reaching their goals is it's because one, they feel overwhelmed, but two, they're not making it enjoyable. Like this
Mhm.
week, what I did for cardio was I played pickleball with Michaela, which was such a workout. I was sweating my balls off. And then wait, I don't have balls. That's such a bad. I'm gonna say that over. I was sweating my ass off, and then I went and played volleyball, beach volleyball. I was sweating there. It was such a good workout, and I haven't played like volleyball since high school. It's been years, but I picked it back up like it was nothing. And when I fucked up, I just laughed at myself and was like, "Huh, I totally missed the ball. Sorry," you know. And I just really made my cardio this week fun. And I think we need to incorporate that more with our goals. Like with fitness, it's like you don't always need to go for a run. You can enjoy a nice hot girl walk walking around the ponds, or you can have a dance party as you're cooking and get in your steps that way. It doesn't need to be so black and white. And I always tell my girls, when it comes to your goals, how can you make it more fun and more enjoyable? Like for
Mhm.
me, it's like, well, I love to add meditation. You're talking about habits. I added that in as a habit because I know it slows my brain down and it makes me feel good. So every day when I do my meditations, I ask myself, what do I want to meditate about today? Maybe I want to do some clearing work. Maybe I want to go visit my higher self. Maybe I want to talk to my grandparents and see how they're doing. What do I want to fucking do? And that makes it so much more enjoyable for me because it's something I actually want.
Mhm. And that really is what it's about. It's like reassessing. If things, I don't know, seem really hard in your routine and things aren't lining up and you just don't feel like in that flow of it and you're not enjoying it. And like you said, like there is the aspect of play that people just forget about and it's just so lost on adults these days, but it's really something that like once you start bringing it back into your life, you kind of just get this whole new wave of like, whoa, like it doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be agony to work out. It doesn't have to be, stressful to go to work. Like there are a lot of things. And starting with just assessing your situation and being able to sit down and really just be brutally honest with yourself. What's working and what's not?
Mhm.
What is it that I'm avoiding also? Because I feel like whatever you're avoiding, that's like the key. That's like the indicator of like, okay, something can change within this situation. So how can I tweak this? And being creative with it. Like there are so many different ways to change a situation and make it something that you will actually do and actually hold yourself to. So I don't know. I feel like the possibilities are endless, but usually the gym is the number one thing for people. I always think about the New Year's resolution thing, which we were talking about earlier. Like people will wait until New Year's, the start of January to get a gym membership. That's why there's like such an influx
Yeah,
in gym memberships and they have all these promotions and they're like, "Oh yeah, like we
let's
get
do it.
a surge. Yeah, we get a surge of people coming in January and then they always like fall off and they'll like dwindle down and it's basically like human anatomy at this point. Not anatomy. It's like
Human psychology.
human psychology at this point. Thank you, Sammy. That's what happens. So it's so apparent and it's something that some people like can't really get out of that loop, but we're telling you right here right now like you can.
Girl, I totally agree. I feel like even with the perspective shift, because Taylor and I were talking about something that I was avoiding today, or at least I felt like I might have been avoiding it. And she told me, Sammy, you're protecting your peace right now, and those boundaries are okay. And it really was that permission I had to give myself too of, oh, I'm just going to look at this differently. And then I feel better about it. I'm not going to be so avoidant about it because I feel better about it. And I think that's kind of we're using the gym as a great example today. But like she
Mhm.
said, even with work, I remember when I was working my 9 to 5, I was really struggling. And as Taylor said, when I assessed my days, I was not happy. So I asked myself, well, what do I need to change within myself and my habits in order to have happier days? And one of the things was a midday walk. So instead of going for lunch, I would go for a 15-minute walk and I brought Nala to my job. So that made it really easy. And that was super helpful because I always felt so much clearer and I like released any stress of the morning, like to the earth, and I was able to come back refreshed. I also really needed a perspective change because I learned so much from that job and now I'm so grateful. But in the moment, it was just a really stressful environment and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't have the coping mechanisms at the time. And it really, a lot of days was as simple as me changing my thoughts to, oh my gosh, I hate my life. I just want to be coaching. I just want to be impacting the world, to, I'm so grateful. I'm learning so much that I need to for me to run my own business one day. And this is a really amazing opportunity. These are really amazing people I'm working with, and just shifting to what was going to make me feel a lot better. And a lot of that really did have to do with the perspective.
Oh my God, I cannot agree more. Perspective is fucking like the root of everything, I feel like, because it can really turn your whole mood, your whole view on a situation around. And it is up to you. Like, no one else can really do that for you. People can, remind you, and like I do, and like you do for me. It's like, give you that little reminder of like, don't forget why you're doing it. Don't forget the
Yeah.
bigger picture, like things like that, which is so important to have people like that in your life also. Like it just makes life so much, so much more manageable sometimes. But I could totally relate to that, like with my work too. Like sometimes if I'm working for like 6 hours straight, and I have like 15-minute breaks in between clients. It's very like go, 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 go. um I will literally, and you're in like a little room, so I'm in a little room in the dark for 6 hours straight, and sometimes it in the beginning would like wear on me a little bit, and I'd be like, this is like, I don't know, I feel like super whatever, and I'm just like in their energy the whole time, and whatever they're feeling I'm feeling. So to start and like think outside of the box and be like, okay, you know what? Within these 15 minutes, like I'm going to clean up the room really fast and I'm going to go outside and touch some grass. So I would literally be like, I'm going to be back. I'm going to touch some grass. And the receptionist would look at me like, what? Like, what is this girl talking about? But like, to ground myself, I would leave my shoes inside and just go right outside. There was like a big patch of grass right next door. And my clients would come in and I'd be like, hey, I'll be right with you, like whatever. And I would just be earthing myself a little bit and just to like get back into that like neutral position and just like ground and like release. And it was just that little practice to add to that routine made such a big difference in my work days. Like I would come home exhausted, drained, like had nothing left to give. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still tiring. Like, my muscles are still tired, my body is, but I'm so much more clear headed. I don't know. I just have like a better way about me now. And it's all because I really reassessed and said, like, okay, well, I have that 15 minutes. And yes,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of time, but I still have it. And what can I do with it? And what can I do that will benefit me for the next client and will benefit me for myself? And that just so happened to be one of the things that I incorporated and it worked. So play
Fuck yeah.
around with it too.
And if you think about like from the your client's point of view, they're seeing you do that. They're seeing you take care of yourself and they're probably just as excited to go get that massage now because they see, "Oh, okay, she's doing some grounding." Cuz if
Mhm.
you think about it, when you're all parts of yourself, people appreciate you more and the universe rewards you more. And this is something I was telling my client. She was talking to me this Monday about how Mondays are hard for her because on the weekend she'll sage and she'll Palo Santo and she'll do ocean dance and she'll really connect with her spirituality. And then when she goes back to work, she feels like she has to be that corporate, like put together, hardcore version of herself. So I go, why don't you just add some of those spiritual practices you're doing into your days as well during the week? I said, you could just sage simply after work, and that could be a huge game changer for you. So I love how it's like one thing that you did totally impacted your day. And I think it's important for us to realize like, what do we enjoy doing? What makes us feel good afterwards? Because for Cece, it was doing these spiritual practices. So I said, well, when you're working, that means that you're cutting off a version of yourself. And that's why you're being so resistant to Mondays. You're having the Sunday scaries because you feel like you have to let a part of you go. But what if the way to reach your goals is to be 100% that version of you? Because that's obviously where you're happiest.
Oh my God, yes. And that's where you're more aligned, I feel like the most aligned, if
Yeah.
anything. So it's like everything's just in perfect harmony.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's so true.
Super powerful, right? I feel like when we think about why we're not reaching our goals, sometimes we can like just think about like these such hardcore things and we're like, I just don't have the money for it or I don't have the support for it. But it could really just be really small changes like this. And I think one of the reasons we'll be so resistant to thinking about these things is because we think only bad things are going to come up. Like we're just ready to beat ourselves down and be like, you're just not working hard enough. But it could be as simple as adding something fun in, like you're adding a walk or you're adding ocean dance like Cece does. Like she could dance in the middle of her house and that could make a major impact. I know it has for me. Oh my gosh. Like I was telling Taylor, I was like, I know I'm the happiest because I've been singing and dancing every day. I don't know what it is. I just start singing. I love to
Oh.
sing. And I was always told I was such a bad singer, but now I'm in my own space. So I don't give a fuck. I could sound and nobody would hear me. And if they do, I don't give a fuck either. I'm happy. So I'm going to sing for everybody.
Wait, hell yeah. I also just love so much the emphasis that you put on I don't give a fuck.
Yo, my stepdad used to tell me I was such a bad singer, and I had my best friend tell me too. And I would sing in the shower, so it would cause me to not sing in the shower because I would think about how bad I was. But the way that I was talking to Taylor is like at the end of the day, if you practice something, you're gonna get good at it. So I've been practicing like my Kundalini chants when I take Kundalini yoga. And at first I was so scared to sing. I was like, ah, no, I'm not gonna be on key. I don't know the words. But then I started doing it, and it really was that energy of I just don't give a fuck. Like I'm enjoying myself. So yeah.
Listen, that's the best energy to be in. Like, let me tell you, I don't give a
Exactly.
fuck what anyone else thinks. I'm doing this because it makes me happy and it makes me feel aligned. And really, that's the only reason you need to do anything.
Yeah.
For the listeners on Spotify, I just like instinctively whipped out this stuffed animal penguin. The fuck is he? A seagull
With the French.
with the French fry in his mouth. I feel like he's like our mascot at this point or something. The soul sink seagull.
I think Taylor
SSF.
really wants a fur baby.
Oh my
That's what it
god.
is.
Do I ever? But our landlord is allergic. Bitch, so am I, and I'm still gonna cuddle with it. That doesn't stop me. You're not living here. I am.
Fuck yeah. I don't give a fuck energy.
Yes, that's what we're on today and always.
Oh, I fucking love it. But you know what? It goes to show, like, I think a lot of times we're not reaching our goals because we care what people think. But like, one thing Taylor and I were saying that we love about the podcast is we just get to be silly and goofy and authentically ourselves. And it's just so in alignment for us. Like, we have so many big dreams we've been talking about. And it's like, one of the reasons why you might not be reaching your goals is because you care too much about what others think. But when you don't do that, people really do get to see like how beautiful and vibrant you are just for the person you are. And in our case, very silly and very giggly.
Wait, I love that. That was so beautifully said
Come
and
on,
so
it came
true.
from the heart, you know?
I could tell, I could feel it. Yeah, no, you're so right. Like having to, I don't know, put on like a different mask for work and a different mask for your friend group or your family, like different things like that. It just doesn't feel authentic because it's not.
Mhm.
And it doesn't feel good because you're basically using all your energy to be something that you're not. And that could also be stopping you from achieving your goals too, because it's not in alignment with you. It's not in
Mhm.
alignment with your energy. So I feel like the faster that you prioritize that is the faster that you'll feel more energetically inclined to reach these goals and to make them a priority because you're making yourself a priority.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself. So I think this weekend, what your guys' homework is going to be is to really sit back and ask yourself whether or not you've been making your goals and yourself a priority. This is something that Taylor and I ask ourselves like multiple times about different things in our lives. Like we both know 100% what our priorities are. And I think that, you just need to do a little bit of the inner work to ask yourself that question too and make it fun. Like maybe put on some Hertz music or some meditation music, or sometimes I'll just listen to songs I really like and I'll have it in the background and make it as enjoyable as possible because this really can be a fun experience. And when you have that perspective of like, hey, I'm going to be going over my priorities and what my goals are and why I might not be reaching them to add in better energy and a higher alignment throughout my days, you genuinely want to do it. So I really want you
Mhm.
to come at it from that perspective instead of like beating yourself down. And when the ego comes up and you're feeling that happen, you can be brutally honest with yourself. And I think the difference is having that compassion of like for Taylor, she is working 6 days a week right now. So 5 workouts is absolutely insane. She's going to have that compassion of, oh, I've been missing my workouts because I'm working like a dog and I'm fucking exhausted. So I just don't have the energy. but I know that I could have enough energy for 3, so that's what I'll commit to, you know? So it's like, have that compassion for yourself as well. If you haven't been reaching them, have that brutal honesty about why, but also think about why that why is happening as well so that you have that context and you have something to go off of for the future.
My God, Sammy, that was perfect.
Good.
Girl. So that's your homework, people.
Woo!
No ifs, ands, or buts. We're
Period.
reaching these goals and it's going to be enjoyable to do it. And you're going to look back and you're going to be like, damn, that wasn't so bad. What was I stressing out all these years for?
Yeah, and if you realize like, what's been holding you back and you want to share what your goals are, go to our docu, like come to our Instagram, like DM us, let us know. We want to know how we're impacting your life because I tell this to my clients all the time. The more that I know what's going on with their lives and they're sharing their wins, they're sharing their struggles, they're communicating with me, the better I can help them. So it's the same with the podcast of like what you guys enjoy us talking about, like what really resonates with you and what is helping you. And when we know your goals and we know what's holding you back, we know how to lead you in that right direction of like, hey, you want to get into fitness? I fucking got you, girl. I'll make a whole podcast for you of like how to start, you know? So
Yeah.
remember to fill
Oh
that out.
my God, so true. We're here to help,
Mhm.
bitches.
Emphasis on the
Yeah. Help.
I can't with us today. We're on a new
I
level.
know. We're in a silly, goofy mood.
I fucking love it though. I needed it. Like I was telling Taylor before, like, oh my gosh, does these goofy moods, you just need it sometimes. Like it's the perfect medicine. And I always leave just like, I can't stop smiling. I'm like, I just feel so happy.
I know, me too. It's just like the warmest, comfiest feeling ever. So I love that for us.
Yeah, and we hope that you guys feel it through the podcast if you're watching through the YouTube. Like, feel the energy and allow yourself to be open to it. Because the more you're in this kind of vibration, ooh, the faster your goals are coming in.
That's so true. Like we're giving you free free vibrations, free good energy. You could just suck right from this podcast. So, damn, we should charge for that.
But we won't. 'Cause we love you guys.
But we won't because we love you guys. Yeah. So, anyway, you guys know where to find us by now, I hope. Sammy, where can they find you?
Y'all already know you can find me at Sammy Ruess, SAMIRUESS, and Instagram has the underscore.
Don't forget that underscore. You can follow me at Taylor Babel on Instagram and then our SoulSync account at SoulSync SB on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and we got that Ask Us account we were just talking about. So hop on it, people. Get your
Mhm.
homework done and get all your goals accomplished.
All right. Well, we love you so much, and we will see you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.